An oracle was revealed that a young girl with pink hair would become a sacred person, bringing peace and stability to the empire. Based on this oracle, the emperor declared that the child would also become the crown princess of the empire. Although everyone who heard the oracle didn't deny it, they thought it was impossible to find the main character with just a hint of hair color. However, when the gossip developed and raised many doubts, a nobleman gave birth to a child with pink hair. Since the child's hair didn't resemble their parents', the child was naturally considered the figure from the oracle. Urja Pesantria was the child's name. Everyone praised her, convinced that Urja was the sacred person predicted by the oracle. She then became the crown princess and a sacred person in the empire. But due to the belief in the oracle, Urja had to live far from her family and reside in the imperial palace. At a very young age, Urja felt extremely lonely. However, she managed to endure because there was one person who became her beacon of hope, namely the crown prince. Urja, who had been distant from her parents, was overjoyed to have someone by her side in the gloomy castle where she resided. With the crown prince's support, Urja could do everything that shouldn't be reachable for kids her age. For the sake of living with the crown prince and becoming a sacred person, Urja was willing to leave everything behind. She trusted that the crown prince would always be there for her. However, that trust was shattered when Urja was told that the oracle had changed. She was shocked by the statement and immediately thought about the possibility that the crown prince had also changed towards her. Urja ran to find the crown prince and heard his voice calling her. Sia. Urja was very happy, but the happiness was only temporary when the crown prince suddenly said that he would cancel their engagement. Hearing that, Urja was naturally shocked and asked, why? With a cold gaze, the crown prince replied, the oracle has changed, your highness. Urja was taken aback, seemingly disbelieving what she heard. So that's it, he was with me only because I was the chosen one. When I'm no longer important, I'll be discarded, Urja thought. She recalled all her time with the crown prince and made up her mind. All right, I understand. Please cancel the engagement, Urja said firmly. Urja then left the crown prince, and that was the end of their relationship. This incident occurred a month before their wedding. The next day, Urja woke up from her sleep and sat in front of the mirror while holding a crown. I don't need it anymore, she said while shedding tears. A loud noise was heard in front of her bedroom door. Urja wiped away her tears, and the door opened forcefully. A woman appeared and said, hello, princess. I'm Neva Rutella, I'm the owner of the new oracle. Urja felt unhappy with Neva's action of entering her room without permission. It seems I never gave you permission to enter here, Urja said with an unpleasant tone. Neva replied with an innocent expression that she came to look around the room she would live in later. While saying that, Neva walked towards the crown on the table and took it, then put it on her head. How is it? Doesn't it look fitting on me? Neva said with great cheer while wearing the crown. Urja didn't like Neva's childish behavior at all. She wasn't willing to give up all her achievements to that child. With a frightening expression, Urja said, Princess of Marquis Rutella, don't you know? The emperor hasn't even driven me out of here yet. In other words, I'm still the owner of this palace, so you're still someone beneath me. Hearing that, Neva felt awkward for a moment. Seeing Neva still unaware, Urja continued her words with a mocking smile. Maybe you think you're more noble than the emperor. Urja's piercing tone made Neva even more terrified. Neva, feeling scared, immediately denied it. The crown on her head fell to the floor out of fear. Urja pointed at Neva and ordered, take her away, tie her hands and bring her back to the Marquis Rutella's residence. With a firm and authoritative tone, Urja showed her power as the owner of the palace. 2 guards came and forcibly captured Neva, who was still struggling, and then took her out of Urja's room. Neva's departure made the atmosphere quiet again. Urja sat on the sofa with a weird